All right, we got sitting here in Yarmouth tonight. We got Pierre to join us.
What's going on, Justin?
It's awesome to finally get together with you and spend a little time and talk about some fishing gear.
Yes, look at what we have here today. We got some FishLab, some NXS fishing, soft plastic, some Livingston jerk baits, crankbaits. We got musky stuff. I mean, we got a bunch of goodies in front of us.
Yeah, we're going to run down through some basics of what we want to tackle, pretty much everything that we can do.
Yep. Sounds good, man. What do we have?
Dive right in. Let's. So right here we got this is the Jerkmaster, the deep version.
Yep.
That there's kind of like a perch color, just a gold. We're
super good for the dark water, honestly. Like having those yellow colors, like gold flashy colors, I really like those for the darker waters and stuff like that. Like I would use like something like this in the clearer water. I still use that color in our dark water and stuff like that, but I do like your choice with the gold one there.
Yes, and them too is great for both water clarities. This one here, Gasparo, anybody's chasing Gasparo. We got to mention that this has got the EBS technology inside of it.
It's, oh my God, it's awesome. Not only that, but talking about that color here, the deeper one is actually a darker water than deep stuff, right?
Right.
So if you're fishing this one, it's a shallow one. So on the shallow water, it's actually a little bit more clear, so they're able to see that color a little bit better.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, with that EBS technology, I mean, that's just sending out whatever we're buying that lure for that type of fish, and that's putting out that sound to attract.
Well, that's what I was saying is like, it's really nice jerk baits because any other jerk baits, you're doing that twitch, pause, and then the jerk bait doesn't have much. It's just kind of staying there. It did the motion and stopped. But the thing with the Livingston ones is that they have that sound. You do that twitch, pause, and that sound still is there.
Right. It's still giving it that that lifelike appearance and sound and everything. We're getting everything combined.
Exactly. So it's super nice.
And I mean, we just went through the jerk baits. This is a little tiny crankbait. This has been a go-to for me. This is the Livingston bullnose. This little thing is a wake bait. I can run it fast, get it a bit of foot under. Super good. I've been using that in I believe that's the summer craw or oaky claw. And that has been phenomenal for me fishing weed edges. We have done phenomenal with this lure, and that's also got that EBS technology. It's just a go-to.
I actually haven't used that one that much, to be honest. I've actually been sticking to the jerkbait and stuff, and I don't run too many crankbaits. It's either between the jerkbait or the soft plastic for me, and I really do need to start using crankbaits a lot more.
I definitely would chuck this in an arsenal.
Yeah.
I watched Alicia make 45, 46 casts and caught 40 smallies.
Crazy.
Like making the same cast. Like they were just stacked up on the edge, and it was just crazy.
Yeah. No, that's an awesome bait.
So if you're saying you use a lot of plastics, what
so NXS last year came out. It was last May, and they came out with this new bait, the Gladiator Minnow, which is a perfect drop shot bait. Very, very slim, looks exactly like your normal minnow that you would see on the shallows. It's got that very wiggle tail, like I'm barely moving it and it still has that action. So when you're using a drop shot, it always has that little bit of a movement on the tail.
One thing I noticed about this Gladiator Minnow last year was it sits really good, right straight, and just, you can't even hold it still enough without that tail moving.
Exactly.
So it's just the whole bait doesn't move a lot, but just the tail, and it just gives it that little subtle movement that I find picky smallmouth have really, really been dialing in on.
When you look at a fish in an aquarium, the fins are always moving.
Exactly.
This is exactly what it's doing.
Yep.
So no, it's super nice bait. It's gonna be super popular.
And durable.
It's durable.
The plastic has been super durable on them. I've been really blown away. I've caught multiple fish on the Gladiator Minnow.
They are awesome. You can do a drop shot, you can do it with a jig head, you can do it so many different ways, right? So it's really nice.
And going on from that, where we was using that at drop shot, I've also used this drop shot a little bit too, but I've also run it on a little small jig head. I've even run this on an Alabama rig.
Yep.
Making a mini A rig.
Yep.
But that is the Dancing Dust Shed 4-inch, and I mean that's just a small little bait with just so much tail kick when that goes through the water. The colors are just phenomenal too.
I mean, you can't go wrong with that color, to be honest.
I mean, I've not seen a fish that's eaten another bait fish not tackle that I've come across.
No, 100%. I mean, you can use this in so many different ways too. Like it's an awesome, and once again, durable, super durable plastic.
Free rig.
Yeah.
Awesome little free rig bait to throw along the weed edges.
Yeah.
Super good for that.
That's awesome bait. I'm actually a big fan of the Death Shad 5-inch. I actually use Death Shad 5-inch for pickerel quite a bit, and actually for smallmouth. And like you were saying, we're going to say it again, durable. At first, I was expecting this to be not as durable, but after catching 10 pickerels or even 12 pickerels, I'm still using the same one.
I mean, you look at it, you holding it there, that tail is just super dancing around.
Yeah.
And I noticed how deep the bait is. It makes a better action coming side to side through the water.
Yeah, it doesn't have that fast one. It just has that side to side action,
Right.
more to it. No, I really like those.
And it's got good heft to it. Given that little extra, you can really make them long casts with it and get them where you want to be to get where you're fishing the shallows, and you're not spooking fish.
Yeah.
Stay from a distance.
And not only that, you don't even have to use weight. It's weight enough to you able to cast it. A lot of
Right.
soft plastics sometimes are like soft and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, in this bait here, this has been a go-to color of mine last year. This was the Xmas color. It's like a laminate June bug color. Super, super phenomenal bait. And that there is got a lot of action for a 5-inch steak bait. Bait. It's kind of, it doesn't have a fast sink rate at all. What I found was I started using nail weights and putting different size nail weights to get the sink rate I wanted for the depth I was targeting the fish.
Yep.
So that was a real game changer for me with the durability and also like just that color. I don't know what it was about that, but everything and the nail weights just it was really versatile for me to use in a lot of situations.
And I do like it's a two-tone color, right? You got the two different colors.
And I mean, you can give them such a different look because if you rig it June bug up or June bug down is whatever they're going to see coming fluttering down at them. I mean, that was, I went through a lot of them last year. A lot of catching fish.
Yeah. I think those when you were talking to me about these ones with the paddle tail.
Yes.
And you were telling me something if you want to talk about that was kind of crazy.
Yeah, Alicia, I know is going to kill me over this one, but I got to tell her secrets once in a while so I can open up the pack. So she had one of these 2 years ago, and it actually tore up the nose a little bit.
Yep.
And she seen a fish break, and she wacky rigged it.
Yep.
And that bait coming through the water sideways and then like this, she put a little bit of weight in the nose of it, and she caught some pile of big smallies on that. And it's a way of presentation that they're not used to seeing.
Exactly.
But that fluttering of the, that tail just, you can tell. That kicks so hard, and there's so free movement of it, it just adds so much.
More action. No, that's awesome.
And that's also got the depth to the bait to give it that nice side-to-side action, durable. I mean, we caught a lot of fish on them.
I was actually very surprised, the durability of NXS, I'll say it again, it's just been phenomenal. I say it to everybody that I've been, talking to about it. You have other brands that you think, like with Elastic, that people think it's really tough, and it is really tough, don't get me wrong. But if you want a soft plastic that actually sinks, the Elastic, the one thing that it doesn't do, it doesn't sink unless you put weight on it. So it's really nice that this one actually has a slow sink, and like you were saying.
Yep. I've really had great luck with that because it keeps that bait in the zone, that little pause longer. When you match the right weight to the hook and bait, it just puts it right in position.
100%. Now tell me about this, Justin.
This has been...
You're known for the guy with this
Yes,
bait.
this is... If anybody seems to talk flutter nymphs around me, they know that this has been my baby.
Yep.
I got this last season through, just picked it up. I wanted to try it, but that is a dragonfly nymph in the 3.5-inch version. It's got 4, what would you call it, like legs, but wings with little paddle tails on it. Yeah, 4 wings on it with little paddle tails. And we've been rigging this free rig. We've been rigging it drop shot, and also my favorite way to rig it has been Ned rig. And I've been using the 74 element 1/8 Ted head. That hook has caught me more fish than any other jig head I've put on this bait, and I think it has to do with the tungsten. Well, you're clicking the rock.
You were telling me that you were using lead, and then you were not catching as much fish.
Well, Alicia used lead and bismuth. She tried all kinds of different wines one day, and I outfished her hands down. She switched to a 74 element Ted head, and she cleaned house.
Yep.
It was unbelievable.
It's so awesome with the little paddle tails, just flying around. No, that's a lot of movement in the water for sure. That's definitely going to attract some
And they're so durable too. Like the FishLab plastic too has been so durable for them little wings.
Yeah.
They last, like even pickerel. Like I've had not tear them off right away.
Really?
Like they've lasted a long time.
I haven't personally fished with them yet, but I've heard a lot of good things about it. And then people go crazy on it. The people can keep them in stock.
Exactly.
In
I
the
mean,
store.
if you can find these in stock, buy them. Because they have not lasted long. I have a lot of friends asking me where I'm getting them and how many can they order.
Yep.
So
100%. No, it's going to be it's a really nice bait. 100%.
it has.
And they make it in 3.5. And do they make it bigger than 3.5?
They make a, I can't remember if it's 4 or 4.5, and they
think it's
also
4.5.
make a 2.5. The 2.5 I had real good luck with last year, drop shotting for cold water smallies. Like that was just, don't even move it. Let it sit on bottom.
Just up. Yeah.
Just hold your rod tip and just feel that slight little tick and just lean into it.
Yep. All right. Well, we've got some bass stuff now. Let's get into big game stuff.
Oh,
man.
this is the.
This is where I get really, really excited. Don't get me wrong, I really like bass fishing and all that stuff, but when it gets to the striper and the musky stuff, now we're talking my game.
Yes.
This Squeaky Pete, guys, I cannot vouch more for this Squeaky Pete. Seriously. This Squeaky Pete has caught me so many fish this year. It has been unbelievable. It's really becoming one of my favorite baits now. I mean, it has the EBS sound. It's a Livingston Squeaky Pete. The EBS sound has been such help for my fishing. And you know what? At first I didn't believe into it, but more and more I run it, I'm seeing that whenever there's a lot of bait, I was really struggling with different other baits. And I don't think it was to matching the hatch or whatever it was, or the rattle. It was, but as soon as I put this with the EBS sound,
Yep.
they were able to find my bait, and maybe it was more natural. But yeah,
And I mean, that slender design with the way that's going to come through the water, I'm really excited to get this behind the kayak this year.
100%.
I know that there's going to see some musky action.
Oh yeah, musky. I mean stripers. I personally use this color quite a bit for stripers. I have another color that I run for musky, but this 100% will catch lots of fish.
Right. And I mean, with that EBS, I mean, I've seen it with smallies that your topwater lure will not move for a minute because say you got a snarl in your line, you're clearing something, and the next thing you know, you see a smallie just
boom,
tackle that lure. And I mean, it's all because of that EBS. I'm 100% convinced. I'm
a believer. You're a
I'm
believer.
a believer.
We've seen what it can do.
I've seen it outfish other jerk baits when it comes to smallies.
Yeah. No,
it's just been phenomenal.
EBS, it's a great technology, and seriously, like I put it in every single one of my baits. Here's another color for it. Like this is an orange. This would be more like my musky color, so that I would use for musky. I like orange. Orange is awesome for musky. But that would be like if I had to choose like between both. I mean, you can run both for musky, but this would be musky, and this would be my striper bait, 100%.
Okay.
This is awesome. This came out last year. The ultimate Livingston Kraken, and everybody has been waiting for this one to come out. It's a tube style bait.
It's like a hybrid.
Yep, it's a tube style bait, but instead of being a full soft bait, you have half of it that is a solid, and then you have a skirt for the tube in the back. And on top of that, you do have that spot to add more weights in front of it. So let's just say that day you're fishing a place with a lot of current.
Well, that's like 2 years ago. We was fishing the finale in Fredericton, and we had high water, and people couldn't get baits down and stuff where they wanted to be.
So you can add your own weight, so you get that. It just goes back down.
Right.
And sometimes that's what they want. And then what's nice with that is that if it's low water and there's not a lot of current, you just take the weight off, and then you can use it.
It's such a versatile bait.
Exactly. And you know what? I did a little bit of research last night, and I don't know if it's that going to be the prototype that's going to have the paddle tail, but I know they're making one that's going to have a paddle tail on it.
Okay.
I don't know if it's going to be that body style, but I know they're talking.
Well, that's going to be something to keep watch on because
100%.
That's going to be a phenomenal bait.
If they make a bait that has tube style and a paddle tail style with a hard head and has the EBS system in it, can't ask for better. And you have a weight.
You look at that tail hook on that. That's a really stout hook that they put on that. I mean, that's made for meat.
Yeah, 100%.
That's gonna last.
Yeah. No, it's an awesome bait. Everybody's been asking for it, and you know what? It's finally on the market, and it's good that you got one in your hands
I'm
now.
hoping, because I wanted to get it now, and I said when I seen it, I was like, I gotta have that because
100%.
they're gonna be sold out.
And you know what? There probably are now.
I mean, this is another Livingston musky lure. I think
You have a pretty good story with that one. Too,
yes,
don't you?
this lure really holds a dear place to me. I've really thought about retiring this lure. I was in Woodstock last year fishing the hook and paddle tournament. Seen a muskie roll ahead of the kayak, probably 30, 40 yards. I reached back, grabbed my muskie lure, rod, it had this on it. I made like the third cast, and I don't know if it's that EBS technology that like brought it in, but I watched it roll for that bait, and it missed it the first time, and I'm like, just stay calm, and just kept reeling a steady pace, and that thing, I watched it mouth open, and it engulfed it right to the eye of that bait.
He just gobbled it.
And that was such amazing. The first muskie I ever caught, 40 inches. I mean, from a kayak casting. I mean, it was
You can't ask for better, and that's an awesome first muskie story.
Oh, yeah.
You'll remember that one forever.
Trust me, that is imprinted in this mind. The mind, like you wouldn't believe.
And the fact that you actually saw it before you actually cast it over there with a spinner is what's nice about it.
Exactly, and I've had so many people tell me that, like, you got to see it before, like, you visually casted to it. It wasn't just randomly casting.
Because a lot of times you're casting for muskie, you're just casting blindside. And that's awesome.
So what do we got here?
So we're talking all about all these beautiful lures, and we all know that they're not given for free, right? So what's better to use? What's better to have than a beautiful leader from NXS Fishing? If I can actually open this, now that I touched the skirt, I touched the skirt on the crack and it's all oily, so perfect.
There we go.
So those are actually pretty cool. And so the NXS Fishing leaders are 130-pound fluoro.
Yep.
And
this is the 18-inch one, I believe.
Yeah,
this would be good for, what would you consider this one?
You could use it for trolling, but I would rather use a 36-inch for trolling.
Yep.
That you could do casting with that.
The only reason I got this one for trolling myself was because in the kayak I haven't got that big swing to make a lot of casting, so I wanted to get something in between that would give us that happy medium between to cover both aspects.
100%. But that right here is what is awesome here. So muskie anglers, we all know in the fall when the fall die off, and like in our river, in the St. John River, we have the fall die off, and we have a bunch of weeds floating everywhere. So we use a weed catcher. So I use a straw that's open like a flower.
Okay.
But these NXS ones, there's like the fluoro comes out. So the fluoro comes out, and this acts like a weed catcher. So you're gonna have to clean it. It's gonna pile up, but your bait is always gonna stay clean.
Yeah.
So what that does to you is a lot less bait checks.
Well, that's the thing, right? The more time you got the lure in the water, the more options you have to catch a fish.
Or not even that, but like if you have a bunch of weeds here, and the muskie won't get scared right away. Like just say you put your line in the water, and you start trolling, and 2 minutes later you already have weeds, but in your head you don't know that.
Exactly.
But see, that's what's helping you here.
Well, that's peace of mind. I mean, confidence.
Exactly. So no, that's super sweet that they actually have that built in.
Yeah, I'm really glad to see that with the NXS Fishing leaders.
Thinking of everything.
Quality, like they landed my first muskie on this setup right here.
Yep.
The leader's home right now. It's got a couple marks on it, but I don't.
Yep.
I'd still use it. Like it's not anything that I wouldn't use.
100%.
So that's why I got this one here. I'll probably replace it with this. I might even replace this lure. I've even thought about getting a replica mount and getting that lure hanging into it.
Well, it's your first muskie, man. That's your first muskie lure. I would definitely frame that. That's where it all starts.
That's
I'm telling you, muskie. If you really get into it, your first one's always the best one.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
I mean that's super good. I mean that gives everybody a rundown of really everything that you can tackle around here for fishing.
I mean, with all this setup, you go to Fredericton or on St. John River, you can catch pretty much everything. Every sturgeon, but other than that, you can catch pretty much everything else.
We've took this lineup. I mean, these right here have caught us so many smallies up there.
Yep.
And this, I mean, we've just been blown away by how durable the baits are.
And I have no words to say about Squeaky Pete. It's just been insane.
Well, that's been a super bait for you.
Oh, it's insane. It blew my mind. I knew like at first going into it, I knew it was going to be good, but I didn't think it was going to be that good.
It's just that EBS just pushes a good bait over the top.
The EBS, the way it wobbles, the way the patterns are on them, they're awesome. It's like I have no words on them.
I agree. I agree, 100%.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you guys watching us tonight. We talked pretty much everything, and then Justin, we definitely have to do that again.
Yes, we got to get in the boat together.
Yes, we're in Yarmouth right now. I'm in Nova Scotia visiting pretty much you.
Yep.
And then next time you come up, we'll have to get on the boat. And
yes, we'll get out and 100%. Hopefully we can get some videos of holding each other's fish up for the picture. So.
Big striper, right?
Yes,
big striper.
that's what I got to do. I haven't caught one of them yet, so I'm really excited to get one of them.
Awesome. All right, guys, thank you, and we'll see you later.
Take care.